Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. Today we got one of the cars out that my dad bought on Saturday at the Russell Townsley Estate Auction in Russell. Still got the Chrysler on the trailer in my shop, but we got the Cadillac out and got it hosed off today, looked the car over, and this car is amazing. From near as we can tell, this thing's original, completely original. Even the paint, the interior, from what we can tell, we think this thing's all just the way it rolled off the assembly line 80 years ago. So we'll come on around. You can see the front of this car. I mean, the badge isn't chipped up. The grille has nice chrome. It's got these big accessory driving lights on it. The original Cadillac bars on the bumpers. The original Goddess hood ornament, which is how we open the hood on these cars, which is a really cool feature. We come around the side of this car, this thing is straight. It's got a few little dings and dents in it, but this car's 80 years old, and this appears to be all original paint. We found a few places that are touched up, but you can see some of just the original wear through a few spots in the paint. You know, a few scuffs up here, a few chips. I think it's all original, literally just the way it came off the showroom floor. We did some digging through some of the paperwork. There was a file box and there was a ledger inside of this car, which taught us some really interesting things. We were looking through this little ledger, which has a bunch of paperwork and documentation in it, and we found some notes in it in here. And from when the Russell Townsley bought this car in 1978, this page is dated February 12th of 1978. And the notes that he made when he bought this car: 60 series, 35,000 actual miles, original paint, interior, black sedan. And I think that's all right. I mean, these notes were made in 78, February of 78. And he documented the car at that time as being all original with 35,000 miles on this page here. Also February of 78, actually 35,045 miles. If we look on the odometer in here now, you'll see that it reads 35,928 miles. So I think that's legit. I think this car is totally honest. We've got some wear in the seats here, obviously getting in and out of the left side, but that's the worst part of the interior. If we look up at the headliner, the sun visors, all the garnish in this car, I think this thing is all original and legitimate. You know, this car is not perfect, it's showing a little age, but this thing is 80 years old. So we'll come on, we'll close the suicide doors and listen to these doors click. Watch this door here. And that's it. I think it's unmolested. It's never been touched. I don't see where it's ever been apart. Other than the front clip, they did take the front end off. The motor's out of the car. They had the motor overhauled, did not get it put back in. So the front end's been off. We'll look at the rear fenders, the doors, the running boards. You look up underneath this car, I don't see any signs of anything being apart other than the fact they had the front end off to do the motor. We come around the back, it's got the original V8 badge on it. I believe these may have been an aftermarket accessory, the turn signals. I don't know if those were original Cadillac or not, but regardless, they're pretty cool. The Cadillac badge on the back of it again. As we come around the right side of the car, it's got some streaks in it and stuff because we didn't have time to chamois it off good. We got the dirt and the grime off of it so we can get it back in storage. But you know, there's a few more wear spots right there down to the primer, just because I literally think it's all original paint pretty much, other than a few touch-ups we found. Come in here and look at the right side. You know, we don't have the wear on the seat here because it wasn't used as much. This file box was in this car, which was full of more documentation, more paperwork on this car. Found some cool things in this file here. We found these pictures of this car that the former owner had taken back in 1978 when he got it. Now, the kind of weird part about this, and it kind of was almost shocking, if not a little weird, when we flipped them over, these were taken June 17th of 1978. And here we discover them on June 17th of 2019. So that was kind of weird, but adds to the story a little bit. The gentleman that did have this car was a car collector. It was something that he was proud of. Obviously, he kept the car that long. And the sill plates say Cadillac. They don't even show excessive signs of wear or any damage. And once again, it just it's amazing. I mean, we're shaking the whole car and the doors are tight. So, I mean, nice chrome, really cool vents on the side. It says Cadillac in the cast pot metal. All 4 original hubcaps, wide white wall tires, 39 Kansas plate with a flag holder on top, and just a grill and a nose that is just outstanding. I mean, this is something we'll never see again. We'll never see design of anything like this. But it's a stunning, stunning car. So don't know what the future holds. It's got various options. It may be for sale if Dad decides to sell it. May put it back together. He's got the original flathead that's been overhauled with it, or it may get late model running gear and make a driver so you can take her down the highway. And I know some of the purists wouldn't like that, but I mean, let's face it. You LS this car with vintage heat and air, and you can roll down the highway at 70 miles an hour in the air conditioning in something that looks like this, and that's about as cool as it gets. There's you probably won't pass another one, I can tell you that. So even though that to some people may be sacrilegious, this would be a really cool car going down the highway with the air on, and that you could drive 70 miles an hour. So I know my dad was excited to get it in. We'll get the Chrysler unloaded here sometime in the near future, and we'll bring you some more details on that. I know a lot of you seem to like the videos we had on those cars the other day, so we'll get you some more. That's why we wanted to bring you the Cadillac now that we've got the dust off of it and can see what's there. But super cool car. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed walking around and checking it out as much as we enjoyed cleaning it up and seeing what it actually was, especially when we found out how original this thing is. So thanks for being here, everybody, and tune in again next time.